What's up, YouTube? My second attempt doing this. I was really not happy with the first attempt. New video. We got another tier list video, album tier list. This time we are doing Opeth. Opeth is my third favorite band. None of my circle of friends listen to them, so I'm doing this one by myself. This is going to be all studio albums from their 1995 release, Orchid, all the way to The Last Will and Testament. We've got, as you will see on screen, S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D, and F. Yes, we actually have an F tier. I don't feel like I've really had an F tier in any of my tier list videos yet. We're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna get right into things. I'm gonna try my best not to ramble on too much, because that was a big thing of why I'm redoing this video right now, is because I kind of tended to just ramble on and kind of make the same points again and again, you know. I know, it's my own fault. I tend to fanboy a bit much over this band, but unfortunately this first album, Orchid, I do not fanboy over at all, because it is going to be our F tier album. I can't do it with this album, man. I can't do it. It's just really messy. I think messy is a really good descriptive word to use for this album. The production's messy, the songwriting is messy. In terms of like what the band becomes, the songwriting almost comes across as like incoherent half the time. I don't like it. This is definitely my least favorite Opeth album. I literally made the F tier specifically for this album. Not much else to say about it. I mean, I really don't go back and listen to a few songs or here and there. Like, it's really not. I dread listening to this album. And when I was listening to it for this video, it was really hard to get through all the way. Especially when you're looking at the track listing and you're just like, holy crap. First song's 14 minutes long. You got two 13-minute songs on there, an 11-minute song. It's like, this album did not need to be that long. It was a starting point. It was a starting point, and we got past it, so everything goes uphill for the most part. No, I'm just kidding. It's the only one in F here. But yeah, didn't do much for me. Next up, we have Morning Rise. Honestly, this was going to be an F tier for me as well, but I actually kinda like To Bid You Farewell just a little bit. It's not my first pick of an acoustic song by this band. I tolerated it, so that's like really the best compliment I can kind of give it, but it's still not a very good album. I mean, I am going to put it in D because I slightly enjoyed one song on there, but it just kind of feels like the same thing with Orchid. A lot of really long songs. I believe Black Rose Immortal is their longest song at 20 minutes long, so that was the song that kind of made me stop listening to the album for a couple days. I was like, okay, I need to go back and finish this. Really struggled to finish it, and by that definition it probably should go in F tier, but To Bid You Farewell was okay. It wasn't the worst thing ever. Yeah, those first two albums, not much to say about them. They are what they are. They're not very good, but they are a start. When you get into these next few albums, you will definitely see a progression that this band does. So I will say, despite my dislike for these two albums, they are necessary albums to have. Like, they were a starting point for the band, and in a weird way, I kind of respect those two albums for that. Not enough to have them any higher on the tier list. Sorry, any Morning Rise or Orchid fans out there. I can't do it with these albums. But we're going up a little bit. My Arms, Your Hairs? Yes. I got Spotify up on this. This one is pretty solid album, actually. I like it. I'm putting it in B tier. This actually has one of the first songs that I heard by them, Demon of the Fall. By far my favorite on the album. Really solid song. I do like this album a bit more, obviously. It still isn't quite that kind of like signature Opeth sound. Like, they're still progressing. In terms of those first two albums, this is it really is a big step up. Originally, I actually had this in C tier. Going back and listening to it again, it was kind of clicking a little bit more for me. That's why I bumped it up to B. I feel like it's a pretty solid B tier album. Nothing too spectacular, but like nothing really terrible. Well, at least, you know, on like a special edition or whatever. They have a couple covers. Sucker of the Tyrant from Celtic Frost, and then they did a cover of Remember Tomorrow by Iron Maiden, which is actually a pretty solid cover. I didn't know that for the longest time, so that was interesting to find out. Those first 3 albums, you can see a progression. Each one is going up in the tier list, and with this next one, Still Life. Originally, I had this in S tier. A part of me still wants to put it in S tier, but coming from a more critical mindset, I'm going to put it at A tier. I still really love this album. It is so close to S tier, honestly. This is one of those albums that's kind of hard for me to pick a few songs here and there and be like, oh, I'll just listen to this one, listen to this one. It's like, it's really a full, compact album experience, and I love it for that. Like, I feel like this is the first, like, they had their moments with the last album for sure, but I feel like Still Life, I guess you could say the golden age or golden era of Opeth, kind of like how Iron Maiden has their golden era, you know. A lot of great ones on here. Serenity, Painted Death, The More. Be United is still my favorite acoustic track from them. Amazing. Absolutely love that song. Face of Melinda is really catchy as well, especially at that first half there. Still Life. Really like it. So up next is Blackwater Park. I have it on CD. To the surprise of absolutely no one, if it works, Blackwater Park goes in S tier. I know I mentioned Demon of the Fall being one of my first introductory songs to Opeth. It was honestly pretty much this album that introduced me to the band. I'm pretty sure I just found this album on like a suggested video on YouTube or something from something else I was listening to. And I clicked on it because it looked cool, and then I was like, I'll listen to this album, see how it is. And then, lo and behold, they're one of my favorite bands ever. Thank you, Blackwater Park, for getting me into Opeth. I really don't need to talk too much about this album. Every Opeth fan knows why this is an S-tier album, and if you haven't listened to the album, do yourself a favor and listen to it. Every song is like a 10 out of 10 song. The Leper Affinity, Bleak, Harvest, Drapery Falls, Doors for November, Funeral Portrait, Patterns in the Ivy. Probably my least favorite just because it's kind of like a short instrumental, but it's still really good. And title track, Blackwater Park, amazing song. Just fantastic songwriting all around, amazing production. I'm not going to go too in depth over the like each song of like what I like and stuff. I do feel that like this album, pretty much this whole album, has the best clean vocals in the entire band's discography. It's amazing. Blackwater Park is probably my favorite on the album, although that's really hard to pick a favorite. The Drapery Falls, probably up there as my second favorite. It has such great guitar harmonies and that bass line at the beginning. Chef's Kiss, amazing. So yeah, I'm not going to ramble too much because that was the big thing that I was talking about earlier. So we're going to move on. Blackwater Park, I really don't have to say anything about why that's in S tier. I don't have to explain myself. It's that good of an album. We started in F tier and we went all the way up to S tier. C tier is empty right now. You think we'd go even farther up or anything, but no, we actually kind of go down a little bit. Deliverance, still a really solid album, but you can't fault the band too much because they literally had their magnum opus just before this album, so but like this is still a really solid album. I really like it. I think I had it in B tier originally, but I'm actually going to bump it up to A tier, so I'm going to keep it in A tier. The first two songs on the album, Wrath and Deliverance, are really the only ones that I really go back and listen to often, but when I actually go through and listen to the album, I'm like, wow, these other songs are really good. Why do I not listen to them as much? Deliverance, really solid album. Really solid song, too. That's a fan favorite song. But yeah, really, really solid album. Definitely deserving of an A tier. Next album. This is kind of like a part 2 to Deliverance. Part 2 of Deliverance is Damnation. They actually did re-release it as like an actual double album, so I do kind of consider it a double album. Although both of them are good enough to stand on their own for sure. Especially Damnation, because Damnation is not a metal album. Really odd, because like we've had all these albums that are like death metal and, you know, progressive death metal and stuff, and then they hit you with Damnation. Initially, when I first started listening to it, I was kind of taken aback. I was like, but then I quickly realized, like, as soon as Window Pane was done, as soon as I heard that song for the first time and it went into In My Time of Need, I was like, I'm okay with this. This is an S tier album. This is honestly right there with Blackwater Park in terms of like the quality. This is probably their best production ever. I don't know too much about production, but like when you hear really good production, your ears just kind of like, it just kind of clicks with you, even if you don't. Even for an untrained ear like myself in that regard, I can still pick out Damnation and say this is probably like the best production in the album. They were in the band's discography. Oh my gosh, that was cringe. Out of all the albums that Opeth have done, Damnation is the one that I wish I could listen to again for the first time. It's so good, especially on that first listen. I listened to most of these albums before Damnation. After I got into Blackwater Park, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go through this band and like really listen to their discography. And as soon as I got to Damnation, I was just like blown away. I was taken aback and then I was blown away. Every single song is 10 out of 10. If I had to pick a favorite, it'd probably be Closure, because that one's just super catchy, but like they're all so amazing. Definitely an album that I would recommend to anyone. I don't care what kind of music or genres that you like the best. I don't care if you don't like metal. Listen to Damnation by Opeth. And if you don't like it, then you don't like music. It's just that simple. That's like the music test. You think you like music, listen to Damnation, and if you don't like Damnation, then you don't like music. Stop listening to music. You're done. Anyway, coming up next, we've got Ghost Reveries. A really, really solid album. This is also S tier, to the surprise of absolutely no one. Those three that are in S tier right now, I guarantee you 99% of Opeth fans would put in S tier. Undeniably their best stuff, their best material. But yeah, Ghost Reveries is such a good mix of like heavy and their more slow stuff. Atonement, which is pretty slow and stuff, Hours of Wrath, and then the mighty Isolation Years, which without a doubt in probably their top 5 songs ever. I love that song. It's way too short. If I had to pick a favorite from Ghost Reveries, will probably be Harley Quinn Forest, along with Isolation Years. Of course, this goes for all the ones in S tier right now, but Ghost Reveries, I think, is a really solid album to introduce someone to Opeth. The structure of the album really describes them as a band. Next up, we have the last album in the old path, Watershed. Okay, so Watershed's actually kind of interesting for me, because this is not an album that I really go back to a lot. At the same time, it's like really solid album. I'm gonna go A tier with this one. I don't think I like it as much as Deliverance and Still Life, obviously from the placement of this, but it's still a really solid album. I don't know what it is about this album that doesn't pull me back often as some of the other ones. I don't know, it's kind of like that middle ground for me, I guess. But yeah, still really solid songs on here. Heir Apparent, that's a big one. The Lotus Eater, I really like. Burden, really good one. Really, really good one. So yeah, a lot of really solid songs. Nothing particularly wrong with the album at all. It's just not one that I typically go back to a whole lot. Still very high up on the list, as you can see. Now we're going into the prog rock era of Opeth, or some people say New Peth. This one is a little bit more of a mixed bag. So we're going to be starting off with Heritage. Not really my favorite. My placement here is going to be C tier. Really doesn't do much for me. Honestly, in terms of like starting off on the new sound and stuff, with a new style, I feel like this is a bit ambitious, if that makes sense. Yeah, this isn't one that I go back to hardly at all. Even some of the few songs that I do kind of like The Devil's Orchard. Folklore is probably my favorite on the album. I'm looking at the song list right here, and I really can't tell you anything else. This album really didn't do it for me. When I listened to it the few times that for this video, it wasn't anything like the first two albums where I was like struggling to get through it. I was alright with it for the most part. Like I got through it okay. Not that special to me, but it's not that bad either, so I put it in C tier. Next up, we have Pale Communion. I actually really like. I don't know the general opinion on this album, but me personally, I'm gonna put it in A tier. I'm actually gonna put it above Watershed. Yes, I really like this album. This is another one that's kind of more of a full album listen, although Elysian Woes is probably the only song that I can do without. I can kind of skip that one, but it's still not a bad song. Cusp of Eternities, a jam. Those last three on the album, River, Voice of Treason, Faith and Others, three songs right there are the highlight of the album. The instrumental Goblin is still really good and really catchy. This is a much better album than what we had a second ago. So yeah, I really like Pale Communion. Again, I'm not sure what the general opinion is on this album, so that might be high for some people. Screw it. I like the album. I really enjoy the album. So up next we have Sorceress. It's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty cool artwork and stuff. In terms of the quality of the album, I'm not a fan. This is my least favorite on Opeth. I'm going to put it in D tier. Above Morning Rise. Sometimes I could listen to this album all the way through and be fine with it. But if I'm sitting here solely listening to this album, it was hard to get through. Not a fan. Not a fan of that one. Honestly, maybe like those first few songs are really the only ones worth listening to. Other than that, I really couldn't tell you much about the songs on that one. They're all kind of forgettable and they didn't really do anything for me. And then we have a complete 180. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this album, just so you know, but I'm going to try my best. Incata Venum. I heard that it might be like Latin or something, but I don't know, dude. This album, initially I really liked it, but it has grown on me a lot. When this album first came out, I probably would have put in like B tier or something. But over the years, I've come to really love this album, and I think it is their best in the Opeth. I'm going to put it at the end of S tier. Opeth got into S tier. Awesome. Yeah, I really love this album. This is one that has really grown on me since it released. This was also the first album that came out when I was a fan too, because I kind of discovered Opeth like 2016, 2017, something like that. I was really hyped for this album. I'm not really going to pick a favorite off of this one, because this is really just a full back to front album experience for me. The songs flow so well together, or they're just as good as the last song, that I really don't notice what song I'm on when I'm listening to it, you know. To some considered a bad sign, but for me that's a good sign of like a well structured album. Dignity and Heart in Hand are great. I really love Law and Crime as well. Such a great album. They actually did this one in Swedish as well. In fact, this is the Swedish version. Really good album. Really good album. And last but not least, we have The Last Will and Testament. This album was released just last year. Initially, I really enjoyed it, but I've given this about 5-6 listen-throughs in preparation of this video. And this was honestly the reason that I wanted to refilm this. I think I only listened to it twice. And then I filmed it and I was like, I still don't know. I still don't really know how I feel about it. It's really good. I really enjoy it. But in terms of like the placement on the tier list, I was still a little unsure. Last Will and Testament's a really good album. Kind of feels like a little bit of a mix from the metal, from the old Opeth and the new Opeth. The metal and the prog rock kind of combining together. You got growls again. I'm pretty sure I had this in A tier the first time. It's still going to go in A tier. Just below Still Life. It has the potential to be, for me at least, I feel like it has the potential of being above Still Life. But Still Life is just so close to like the sound of Blackwater Pulp that I can't really put it in that position. The Last Will and Testament's a really solid album. I really enjoy it, and it's just great. Probably my favorite is Paragraph 4. When you're really listening to it, you can hear a lot of like almost like callbacks throughout their discography of like, hey, this riff kind of sounds like something here, you know. I think it was Paragraph 7 maybe, kind of sounds like the closing riff for like Harlequin Forest and Deliverance. I really appreciate that about this album. It's like there's some callbacks and stuff. I'm going to put it this way. I'm typically not a big fan of when bands kind of have like similar, if not the same kind of riffs as like callbacks and stuff, especially if it's several albums after. If it's during the same album, like, I don't mind. I feel like it's a little bit more deserving and fitting for this album, especially, like I said, the kind of like the combination of the prog rock and the prog metal coming together. I feel like that kind of makes it a little bit more full to have those kind of like awesome callbacks and stuff. Okay, so I'm about gonna wrap this up. Starting all the way at the bottom in F tier, we have their debut album, or shit. D tier, we have Morning Rise and Sorceress. Bad albums, I don't like them. C tier, we have Heritage. One thumb down, one thumb sideways, I don't know what I'm... B tier, pretty solid. My Arms, Your Hairs. Pretty solid album, nothing too spectacular. A tier, we got Watershed, Pale Communion, Deliverance, Last Will and Testament, and Still Life. All 5 of those are great albums. And then in S tier, we have Incarnate Venom, Ghost Reveries, Damnation, and Blackwater Park. The best of the best. So yeah, that is my tier list, as you can see on screen. Let me know in the comments what your tier list is. Tell me how stupid my opinion is, I guess. I feel like this tier list won't anger most Opeth fans, but there's probably people out there that are like, why'd you put this way at the bottom? Okay, so that's gonna wrap up the video. That is my tier list. Please let me know yours down below if you'd like. I do live streaming on Twitch and YouTube, and I do have a variety of different videos that I do here on the channel. I do have some playlists and stuff, so you can kind of, it's easier to find things, but tier list videos, I do comedy sketches, I do some gaming stuff, along with the live streaming that I do. I got a good collection of vinyls and stuff, so you might see some of that kind of stuff in there as well. Trying to get somewhere with guitar covers. It's moving slowly but surely. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.